Well, hello, everyone. How are we? I hope you are doing well. My name is Kaya Edwards, and it is such an honor to welcome you all to Amazing Graces, South Sudan Project Empowering Women and Girls. Grace, thank you so much for being with us here. We look forward to hearing from you and hearing your pitch in a little bit. A little bit about myself. I'm a journalist with KARE 11 and an advocate of Alight's work. I have spent time living and reporting throughout East Africa, so I'm very thrilled to be involved with this and to be here today to learn more about a very special idea that Grace has to improve the lives and empower girls and women in South Sudan. Now, a lot of you are already supporters and friends of Alight, but for those of you who are new to this, just want to give you a little bit of background here. So Alight works with 3.5 million people in more than 19 countries across the globe. And when people are displaced from their homes, countries, or lives, Alight provides basic essentials like water, Alight provides shelter, medical care. But of course, we know that these essentials don't make an entire life, which is why they also focus on helping people find joy, find connection, and purpose. Alight's aim is to help displaced people build meaningful and fulfilling lives. So today we're going to hear about an idea that is to do just that. So we are here. Let me formally introduce you to Grace Tshuma. Excuse me, Grace. Sorry. You know, it doesn't roll off the tongue for us here in Minnesota. We're trying out here. Okay. So happy to have you joining us all the way from South Sudan. And I'm so looking forward to hearing more about your project. But first, let's do an icebreaker. You know, let's get this started. Get us all kind of comfortable before we hear your pitch. After we hear your pitch, we'll open it up for questions from you all who are watching from your various areas. So first of all, just as a little icebreaker, Grace, what is the phrase that you learned while living in South Sudan? Because you're not from there originally.
That's interesting. I don't like sugar beans. So when I came into South Sudan, I realized everyone was eating sugar beans. So I asked them, like, I would tell them often that, guys, I don't like sugar beans. So what they taught me first was how to say, I don't want beans. So they taught me to say haburi modo. Modo is beans, haburi means I don't want. So that was the first phrase that I learned when I was in South Sudan, just to say I don't want beans. So I would say haburi modo.
All right, I think all of us can try to say that at home. So I don't want beans. You got to say it for us one more time, Grace. Let me listen carefully here.
Haburi modo.
Haburi modo.
Yes.
Haburi modo.
Haburi modo. Yeah. Haburi modo.
Anyone else want to try it before we delve into this pitch? Haburi modo. I did okay. All right, well, thank you. That was fun. Well, Grace, you know, we're here to talk about a very important project that is near and dear to your heart. You've been wanting this to come into fruition for years. So with that, why don't you take it away? And then once again, for those of you who are watching, we'll take questions after we hear from Grace as she explains just the kind of the initial ideas, and then we'll delve deeper into, you know, the specific questions that you may have at home. So Grace, take it away.
Yes. Once again, my name is Grace Tshuma. I'm a Zimbabwean who is working in South Sudan. And in South Sudan, I work in a place called Budi in the eastern parts of South Sudan, which is one of the most remote areas in South Sudan. I'm working with Alight as the project coordinator. in one of the projects that we are doing there is gender-based violence in general protection. So as I was working with these women, I would have sessions with them to talk to them so that I understand what is it that is happening with these women and girls. So I got to understand something that was really strange to me, the issue of menstrual hygiene. You know, menstruation is something that is natural, and it's something that doesn't have to change your day-to-day living. But I realized that in Budi, in South Sudan, these women could not do their normal activities when it comes to the time of menstruation. And most of these girls could not go to school whenever they had menses because they did not have anything to use, or they would use ways that are not safe for them. For example, I'll tell you that the girls would use old rags as sanitary pads, and at times they would also use a certain tree that has soft leaves. They would put the leaves together, tie them on their waists, because they don't even have panties. So the only way was to put the leaves together, tie them on their waists, so that they can manage their menses. And women, they also told me that they would go and dig a hole where they would just sit on that hole just to allow the flow to go into that hole. And that would disturb most of their activities. This really touched me. And I shared my view with Nadia that my wish is to equip these women to find a way to have them start learning, probably to make their own sanitary pads that can be reused over a certain time, and also to have them trained on how to make the panties, because probably 80% of the women, they don't use panties because they cannot afford them. So this really touched me, and I had a discussion with Nadia and also the other management team here in South Sudan about this project. So we decided we are going to do a pitch. And all I am asking from you, my friends, tonight is for us to raise about 20,000. At the present moment, we've managed to raise about 6,200. And this project has got nothing to do with Allied. It's not an Allied project. Our aim is to have these women trained. When they are trained, then they can continue on their own to make more and more sanitary pads that could be sold so that they survive. And when it comes to selling the product, most people cannot manage to get money, they cannot manage to get cash. So the plan is whatever the women can bring to buy the sanitary pads, it's fine. They can bring sorghum because they also do cultivation of sorghum. They also do cultivation of maize. Some of them have chickens. So they could bring the chickens to exchange with sanitary pads. We are doing this so that everyone has the opportunity to get these sanitary pads, regardless of their class, regardless of what is it that they have. So this is what we are planning to do.
Great. Yes. Thank you so much for that initial introduction of what you're trying to do to empower girls and women, you know, not just giving them the supplies, but giving them skills to be able to sustain a business and have the hygiene products that they need every single month, you know, so they're not having to miss work, miss school, just because of something so natural. So thank you for explaining that. You know, I do want to once again open up the floor to questions for Grace. You know, there's a lot we haven't touched on yet. I'll get the ball rolling with some questions here. But for those of you who are watching from your various locations, please use the chat feature to type your questions out, and then I'll relay them to Grace. So with that, I'll get the ball rolling here. First of all, you brought some visuals.
Yes.
Maybe we could see that right off the bat so people know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So if you could start off then, Grace, with just telling me more about the Women's Center in Budi and the women and girls specifically who you work with.
Yes. So I'll start with this slide. One of the things that happen in the Women's Center is this is a place where women and girls come and they feel safe because one, we made sure that the women and girls friendly space is covered with iron sheets so that people that are outside cannot see what is happening inside. Because in most cases, the women here, they jump from being children straight to being mothers. They don't have that time to grow up. They don't have time to experience teenagehood. So we created that space so that they can come in. If they feel like dancing, they can come in, they do their dancing. And also we train them different skills. If one woman knows how to knit, the woman will come and teach the other women how to knit. And while they are doing that, they have time to chat. They have time to share their experiences. Like most of them, they are survivors of GBV. So they come to the center and share their experience. This is also a way that they find some healing because they've gone through a lot of trauma, and because of there is conflict in South Sudan, trauma is there all year round and all the time. They get trauma from the country, they get trauma from their homes, they are being abused in different ways. So in this Women's Center, that's the place where they relax, they discuss their issues, and also they are given counseling because we have caseworkers that are trained to offer counseling to the survivors of GBV. So as you can see in that picture, the women are sitting and they are making their tablecloths. So one of them trained them to make this, and the other, all of them will end up knowing this skill. We do a number of skills there that are offered. So a Women's Center is a safe space for women and girls.
We do have a couple of questions coming into the chat. So maybe as these pictures continue to be shown, I'm gonna go ahead and read the first one that we have, which is from Daika, asking, are women and girls subject to FGM in South Sudan? So female genital mutilation, basically called female circumcision, you know, oftentimes against their will. So is that a problem in South Sudan?
Yes, in some parts of South Sudan, it is a problem, but in Budi, they do not practice that because most of the practice differ depending with the areas of the country. So in Budi and in some parts that I've been, it's not being practiced, but in some other parts, yes, it is.
Okay. So Jen says, thank you so much for having me here today. What is the desired time frame for raising the needed funds? So that $20,000 you mentioned, is there a cutoff time? I mean, we'd love to see it today, but is there a time frame, Grace?
I've been waiting for so many years, probably. So I would have loved to have it even yesterday. So I cannot say the exact time frame, but it will also depend on on the affordability of the people that need to help. But if it was according to my will, I would love to have it even yesterday.
I love that. The answer is yesterday.
Yes, the answer is yesterday.
Okay, thank you so much. And now a question from Sarah asking, how many girls and women come to the center on average?
The issue of COVID, we try and have them come in different sessions, in different groups. So probably in the morning, we can have 20 women, and in the afternoon, we can have 20 girls on average. But before COVID, we would have like 40, 50 a day.
So this would be helping dozens of women in the immediate circle to train them. However, then they could pass on those skills to even more women or sell what they're making to women around where they live. Is that correct?
Our wish is to have these women, this group of women that are going to be trained. After they are trained, they will also train other women. And we are planning to take this project to other parts of South Sudan as well, so that other women can also be trained. Because I'm sure Budi alone cannot manage to supply sanitary pads to the whole country. So probably we are going to take this project to other areas of South Sudan as well.
Now, this might seem just totally ignorant, but basically the thing is, just to paint the picture, there's not a Tampax corporation in South Sudan. You know, there's not a manufacturer of sanitary products in the country, correct? And
Yes.
also the other issue is, so if they were getting them, they'd be maybe imported, but they're so expensive. And so you have girls and women who cannot afford this very basic human need.
Yeah, most of these products, I even have one here that was made, it has a +1, I think the number there of the supply is a +16 something. I'm not sure which, probably it's the US, but I'm not sure where exactly. But this is how far these products are coming from. And as far as I know, I've not seen anyone who is making these reusable sanitary pads. Yeah.
So yes, do you have then with you, Grace, an example of the sanitary pads that these women and girls would be trained to make?
Oh yes, I have. Okay, so this is the reusable sanitary pad. It has 2 fasteners that are used. The other part of the pad is a bit nylon to avoid leaking, and the other part of it is made of cotton so that the user feels more comfortable, and so that it can also be washed and reused again. So this is the type of sanitary pad that we wish to make. It has 2 sides. The other part is a bit nylon to avoid leaking, and the other part is made out of cotton material, and it has 2 fasteners. So it is used, probably I can demonstrate how it's used if people are okay with that.
Oh yeah, we love a demo.
Yeah, so this is the panty. So the person takes the panty and put it inside out. Then they can put the sanitary pad, and they use the 2 fasteners to fasten the sanitary pad together. So this is how the panty will look like. So this is the inside, the cotton part. So this is the inside of the panty, like this. So this is how it comes out to be like. So this sanitary pad can be used. After that, it's washed with soap. But because most people cannot afford to buy soap, probably they can use ash, and we have tried it, and this is what works in most people that are in the villages. They use ash, and it can be dried in the sun, and it can be used again.
I'm sorry, they use what now? Ash?
Yes. Yes, ash.
Okay. You can't demo that one now, can you? I'm like, what did you just say? Okay, that's very interesting. Very interesting. We do have several comments or questions here. So thank you so much for that demo, because it really just helps us imagine what it is you're trying to do. So Felicia saying, thank you for having me, so inspiring. How are the pads made? What are the materials? So I heard you say a mesh, right? And cotton on the other side. Do you want to just go over that again quickly? The materials and how they're made?
Okay. We have a cotton material, and we also have the nylon material. We also need some fasteners and probably some stuff to put inside, to put between the two material, like something padded where we can fold the material and we put it inside between the two types of material, the nylon one and the cotton one, and 2 fasteners per page.
How long does it take to make one?
Well, when people, I'm sure when people are well trained, I'm not trained on this. I've not been trained, but I think when people are well trained, they can manage to make probably 100 pairs per day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see here. So Wendy's asking, are you able to find adequate supplies of cotton, nylon, and fasteners in South Sudan, or do those need to come from elsewhere?
As I said, resources in South Sudan are a bit scarce. Most of the products that are in South Sudan, it's either they come from Uganda or they come from Kenya. And we are lucky in Budi, it's only about, I think 15 minutes from Budi to the next town in Uganda. So most of our products come from Uganda. So Uganda is like our town because we don't have a town in Budi. So most of our products come from Uganda.
Great. And let's see here. Maddie's asking if you could elaborate. Well, first of all, she says she loves what you're doing. And she's asking if you can elaborate on the educational aspect of this. You know, what are you envisioning around menstruation education? What would that look like?
Okay, when we're talking about one, we need to give information to the women and girls so that they understand that having your menstrual cycle is something that is normal. So people need to understand that it's a normal process and it's natural and they need to love it as women. That's one thing. And also we need to train them on safe and safe menstrual hygiene. What is it that they're supposed to do? How many times do they have to wash their bodies? And what is it that they are supposed to do? And how do they use these sanitary pads? Because most of them, they've never used them. They've never used knickers. So this is what we are going to be training them when it comes to menstrual hygiene.
And speaking of education, Daika says, menstrual blood is a great fertilizer for growing produce. The more you know.
Wow.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me read up on another question here. So, will you need to buy some sewing machines as part of this?
Oh yes, we definitely need to buy some sewing machines. We need the straight sewing machine, the ordinary sewing machine, and we also need some overlocking machines to neaten the edges of the sanitary pads. So for sure we do.
Here's a great question I'm not sure we've mentioned yet. How much would they be sold for? How much would the women sell them for in their town?
After doing some calculations, we realized that we could be selling them at $3 per pack.
How many? I missed that. I'm so sorry. $3?
$3.
$3. Okay. Yeah, you know what? It's more expensive here in Minnesota.
The reason why they are cheaper is we are trying, as much as we want to make more money so that the women would continue with their business, we also want them to make them more affordable to most people. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would imagine that the women who are selling them too, they want to help their fellow women also. They don't want to charge them something that they can't afford. You know, yeah. They know that they're doing a good cause too, as they also take on the role of being a businesswoman. So somebody asked about how can we donate? And that link has been posted in the chat. So we would love for you to check out that link. And there's a lot of good discussion going on in the chat. I'm looking for pop-out questions for you, Grace. Disinfectants. Okay, so Mary's asking, did I hear you say you can get them to love getting their period? How do you do that?
I think as far as I'm concerned, as far as I've observed and heard what they say, having their menses is just a nightmare for them because it changes a lot of, of, of their lifestyle. The moment they have their menses, they don't have to go to school, they can't do their work, they have to stay in one place. But after helping them, probably these sanitary pads, everything will be back to normal. And I'm sure they would love to have their menses instead of cursing the day they started their menses. I'm sure they'll start loving it because they will be having all the resources that they need and they'll be having the knowledge as well.
We do have a question here from Teresa. She's asked, she says, this seems great. Thank you. Have you looked into menstrual cups, maybe for older women who have had children or who are comfortable with putting one in? She says that would eliminate the need for panties.
To be honest with you, I've not used the cups myself, so I've not done any research on them. It's something that I would love to look into and also learn. And if it's a better way for these women to have their menses in a healthy way, I would love to explore that as well.
Right, that could be something in the future.
Yes, sure.
Okay, Chris is asking, how many women and girls could this project impact in Booty?
The last time we had a population census, we realized that the women and girls, that was 2 years back when we did that, they were like about 83,000. So probably the number could have increased from 83,000 because this was 2 years back.
And then kind of a follow-up to that, could this be scaled beyond Booty to other locations in South Sudan?
Yes, for sure. This is our plan. We are going to start with Booty, and probably if all goes well and we succeed, we'll extend to other parts of South Sudan.
Okay. And feel free, everyone, to keep those questions coming. I'm just making sure I didn't overlook anyone. I'm loving the active discussion that we're having. I do want to again point out that link that was dropped into the chat not too long ago. Grace mentioned this at the top. She's at a third of the way to her $20,000 goal. So thank you so much to the people who have donated so far, bringing her already to $6,200. And I know we got at least one donation while we were chatting here already just now. So it's actually higher than that. So we really appreciate that. You are making an impact. As you can see, Grace is connected directly with these women, and she really can't wait to get going and get these trainings going and get those supplies from Uganda, get it all in the works so that more girls and women can live comfortably and not have to worry about things that we here don't have to worry about. We can just run to our Targets, to our Walgreens, pick up a box, not even think about it. But you really have girls and women out there using leaves from trees and not working and not going to school just because they're on their period. So Grace, I really commend you for what you're doing and inspiring people to think about how they can help our sisters in another part of the world. Here's a question from Felicia. Is the price sustainable for purchasing ongoing supplies?
Yeah, when we did the calculations, it was sustainable. They could manage to buy more supplies from what they would have produced.
We actually got a lot of questions, so let me scroll up. Okay, yeah, here's a great question from Jen. She said, addressing menstrual poverty is such an important issue. Thanks so much for this amazing initiative, Grace. Is there a limit to the number of times the pads can be reused, and how are they disposed once they're done being used?
When we talked to other people that have used these reusable sanitary pads, they said one pad can be used for about 4 months or so. And after a person is done with the reusable sanitary pad, they can put them in a pit, then they burn sanitary pads.
They put them in a pit? Oh, burn. Okay, like a burn
Yes,
pit.
burn, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a pretty common way of disposing trash?
Yes, it's a common way of disposing any other trash, even in homes or in the markets. People burn the trash. This is the most common way of disposing trash.
Yes, I do remember that smell from when I lived in East Africa. It's like
Yes.
you just walked by some burning garbage, but no, it's a different, different cultures.
Yes.
Okay, what's the biggest challenge that you see in getting this project started?
I think one of the challenges that we might face is acceptance, because I remember some weeks back we had a training for soap making, and people from the community could not believe that their own people make liquid soap. So it took us a lot of effort to call people from the community to come and watch while these women were making the soap, so that they could believe. So I think also it's going to take a lot of effort, and we need to engage the community when we are doing this training, so that they see that these women for real are the ones that are making these sanitary pads. Otherwise, we'll start having, we'll face some people that would not accept. They should know this product was bought from somewhere else. So we need to engage the community from the start, so that they see it's their people that are making these sanitary pads.
So they like that it's local. People generally over there appreciate when products are local.
I can say it's something that has not been happening. It's something that has not been happening. Like, these women are people that are known to be good for nothing. They can't do anything on their own. They can't do anything for themselves. So it's kind of like a real shock to people. So it's not that they don't accept things from outside, but they don't accept that their women could do anything, can do anything for themselves.
Well, I look forward to seeing the women prove some people wrong, or maybe just, get them on board and get them believing. Okay, let's see. I think I asked you this, is the price sustainable for purchasing ongoing supplies? Okay, once you reach your financial goal of $20,000, how long until the program is ready to distribute the product?
I think what we have done so far with the money that we have started purchasing some products. So definitely, if our money is enough, within 3 weeks, we'll have done with the training and also the procurement of the products, because already we've started procuring some of these products. So probably 3 weeks.
Well, that seems like, by the holidays, we could be in business. Yeah. All right. Okay. Here's a question from Nancy and Ben. Amazing Grace, we're so glad to see you again. We would like to understand the $3 amount. For the very poor women, is this too much? Love you, Nancy and Ben.
Yes, this is why I mentioned in the beginning. Thank you, Nancy and Ben. Nice to see you once again. The reason why we put it at $3 is for the purpose of buying more products, but we are not going to stay on $3. As I mentioned before, that if someone has a chicken, they can bring the chicken to the women, then the women will sell the chicken. If they have stock, whatever they can afford, they can bring to exchange with the sanitary pads. So it's something that is open for everyone.
All right, so we're gonna take some final questions here. So if you think of anything else, get those questions in the chat. I'm gonna scroll through one last time here and see if there are any that I missed that are popping up. So you addressed the $3 amount, and then we've got someone talking about recycling systems in place. Let me just see. It's understandable that, like other ways, the used pads might end up burnt. Maybe we need to come up with an idea for environmentally safe way to dispose used items. Yes, and Grace, it seems you're open to all kinds of suggestions. We do know the immediate need is getting women and girls trained so that they can make these pads, but certainly it seems like you're open to ways of making it even more environmentally conscious, or making everything even more sustainable. But yeah, a lot of good discussion going on. So it looks like we might have a glitch with the donation link. If someone from Alight could kind of help out there. And then Maddie saying, no question right now, just really excited about this project. Can't wait to see you keep shining, amazing Grace. And yes, Sarah, to confirm, these are reusable pads. They can be washed and reused. And Grace, just in case anyone did join us late, if you want to just hold up the actual product again so people can see, get kind of a last look here. And then we've also we've dropped that donation link into the chat once again. So Grace, if you kind of just show us what you got there. Again, Grace is a third of the way to her goal, thanks to donors like you all. So we really appreciate you helping to raise this money and supporting such an important project. Again, that link to donate is in the chat. Grace, do you have any final thoughts here as we kind of wrap up with your introduction of such an important project to the people who are watching this afternoon?
Yeah, probably what I would want to say lastly is that let's work together to make a difference in the lives of these women that are here in Budi. But let it not be for Budi only. Let's work together to help these women retain their dignity, because we know that when a woman is not feeling comfortable, they even feel their dignity has been bruised, they even lose hope. So let's give them hope once again, and we can only do it when we are doing it together. So together we can help these women and girls.
Absolutely. Well, Alight certainly has your back. Minnesota supports you. You were here in Minnesota, which I think that is so great. Next time you are here, I would love to meet you, Grace, in person. Yes. But we just appreciate you so much for taking the time to explain your goals, your dreams with us from South Sudan. Gotta love the technology here. And I'm sure you're probably getting ready for bed soon after this. But
oh, yes.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for watching. And, we were talking about the link in the chat. And a Alight staff person has gone ahead and put a link to the general donation page. And they're saying they'll make sure that donations that come in now will get sent over to Grace's project. Again, working to raise $20,000, already a third of the way there. And I'm feeling pretty confident, you guys, we can help her get there and help these girls and women in South Sudan. So Grace, thank you so much. And to everyone who's watching, thank you so much. And we will talk to you another time. Have a great day.